Da dang dang, and go danyo danyo. Oh, what da dang dang.
Januksen ya waleta matam sanga. Yabo, yabo.
This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Show, number where we speak truth to power. And I'm most excited to be with you, my brother, my sister. Now, the very first story we are looking at today is coming all the way from Graphic Online and from the newsreel. We endeavor to keep it real all the time. I remember here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we'd only just criticize to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Show, where we speak truth to power.
Ya waleta matam sanga. Yabo.
Now the first story we are looking at is coming from Graphic Online and is the national communicator. It says LGBTQ plus bill passage. Ghana risks losing 3.8 billion American dollars. And I read, now, the Ministry of Finance has planned a structured engagement with local conservative forces such as religious bodies and faith-based organizations to communicate the economic implications of the passage of the anti-LGBTQ plus bill on the national budget, proposing a total shift to China and Arab countries as development partners. Now, the action, government sources contend, has become one of the pragmatic options available to the country, with the ministry projecting a grim economic outlook enforced by uncertainty of financial inflows from foreign sources in the wake of the posturing of Western forces and Western-backed financial institutions. I'll leave it here.
Ya waleta matam sanga. Yabo, yabo, yabo.
Now, my brother, my sister, this one is so very easy to deal with. Now, the Ministry of Finance has been empowered to be able to grow the economy. How do they grow the economy at the Ministry of Finance? By taking very good actions and putting into place very good plans to be able to make our economy grow. Now, one of the things that they would need to grow the economy would certainly be finances. Now, the Ministry of Finance is saying, listen, Ghanaians, you want your economy to grow. But if you want your economy to grow, you must also remember that we need money. And this money that we need, a lot of it comes from our development partners. It's another way of saying people we beg from. Development partners in the third world simply means people we beg from. Benevolent institutions and countries. My brother, my sister. So if this money that you need to be able to develop your economy is coming from these people, then you must live by the whims and caprices of these people, the so-called development partners. AKA the benevolent society, AKA the people who are always giving us crumbs from off their tables. For that matter, if you go ahead to pass the LGBTQI plus bill, we are hurting our development partners, AKA the benevolent society, AKA the people that we beg from every now and then, AKA the people who throw the crumbs from off their tables onto us like bones to the dog. My brother, my sister, if the dog must always have bones to eat from the master, it must behave and live according to the whims and caprices of the master. Now, Ghana has become like a dog. The West is the master of the dog. And every time the dog wants to eat bones, the master is ready to give these bones on condition that the dog will continue to be subservient and live by the whims and caprices of the master, aka the West. How would a nation that called itself independent continue to be fed night and day according to the whims, caprices, and dictates of the hearts of the master? Then you better consider yourself as very, very, very independent. Or better still, very, very dependent, my brother, my sister. It's a mockery of an independence, my brother, my sister, to continue eating from the table of the master. And if you are even invited to the table, fine. But no, you have to hide under the table where the master throws the bones onto you so you can eat. My brother, my sister, this coming from the finance ministry is so shameful. It is not about passing the LGBTQI plus bill or passing any other bill. I am looking at it from one direction. We are living according to who feeds us. And remember, he who feeds you will continue to control you. He who pays the piper calls the tune. I cannot pay the piper, and you standing with your hands folded will call the tune. It's not possible. I am so ashamed as the so-called independent Ghana. The independence that our ancestors fought for us. The independence that our ancestors gave to us on a silver platter after shedding their own blood, sweating it out and slugging it very, very painfully with objects of depression and indisposition. My brother, my sister, it hurts me, my brother, my sister, to call myself an independent person living in an independent country. Tomorrow we are going to be celebrating the independence of Ghana. Oh, what a time to celebrate the independence of Ghana. Are we truly independent? Or we are a bunch of idiots who are playing the ostrich of a dependence which we call independence? Are we living in a Mickey Mouse society? Have we been given a Mickey Mouse freedom? Are we truly independent? Now the Ministry of Finance comes out to tell you, listen, even though we don't like homosexuality, even though we don't want any member of our society, any member of our family to be a homosexual or a lesbian, we need to pretend to love it. We need to love it. We need to live by the whims and caprices and dictates of the LGBTQI plus society. That is what the Minister of Finance is telling you. That is what our country is telling you. Please don't get me wrong. I am trying to speak unequivocally so everyone would have a full comprehension of what I am saying. It is not about the gay society. Neither is it against any other society, my brethren. I am only talking about the fact that we are not independent. Now, if you claim that your culture does not permit one thing, if you claim that majority of the people in the country are not ready for a certain bill, a certain behavior, my brother, my sister, and you cannot independently pass this because there is somebody who feeds you from the other side, he decides when you should sleep, he decides when you should eat, he decides what you should say, because he gives you some crumbs from off the table, then you are a buffoon. Then you are not independent. Then you are drawing our country back into slavery. The way Ghana is right now, my brother, my sister, it is better we invite the British to come back and recolonize us, because our leaders are idiotic. Our leaders have no common sense of independence. Our leaders have no common sense of democracy. Our leaders are refusing, my brother, my sister, to uphold the image of our ancestors who fought tooth and nail to bring us here. I am so shocked, my brother, my sister, that these guys in coat and tie, these guys who drink tea even in the hottest sun, my brother, my sister, at the time there's a serious heat wave running around Africa and people are getting heat stroke, we are busily wearing coat and tie and drinking tea every now and then, trying to behave like our masters. My brother, my sister, all these guys are idiots. All these guys have no common sense. At the time your factories producing textile are all dying out, you are busily flaunting your slave masters' coats and tie. You are busily wearing suit and tie and wearing shoes all the way from Italy, eating Italian and American food. You are a slave, my brother. You are a useless slave, and we have elected slaves to lead us, my brother, my sister. The president goes for an all-African conference. An all-African conference which is held outside Africa. My brother, my sister, all the African leaders arrive there in the slave master's suit and tie. The slave master tells them exactly what he wants them to do. Several years after slavery is gone, several years after colonialism is gone, it looks like we are in the days of neo-colonialism, where we are still in slavery and colonialism, and we are puppeted from afar. LGBTQI plus bill if you are truly independent. Please be independent and go by the dictates of your hearts. Go after what the people say they want, without looking at who gets hurt or who gets slapped. Majority of the people say that this is what they want. This is what they don't want. As a nation, do not let a few people who feed you like dogs with bones, my brother, my sister, control and puppet you. I leave it here. There's no ambiguity in what I have said. Now the next thing I want to look at, and I need you to come along, my brethren. Hey, my brother, things are happening in our nation. To God be the glory. Now the next thing I want to look at is here. This one I'm reading from Ghana Word, and it says, anti-LGBT plus bill, no cause for anxiety. Akufo-Addo assures diplomatic community. Others, my God. Well, Nana Akufo-Addo is speaking, and he says that the diplomatic community should rest assured that there is no cause for anxiety. In other words, no cause for alarm. That the LGBTQI plus bill is under control. May I read? From Ghana Web. It says, President Nana Akufo-Addo has allayed the fears of members of the diplomatic community and international organizations that have expressed concerns over the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, also known as the anti-LGBT plus bill. Now, the bill was recently approved via a unanimous vote by the Parliament of Ghana. In a statement dated Monday, March 4, 2024, the president stated that while he has become aware of the anxieties expressed about the approval of the bill, the international community should be assured that Ghana will not backslide on its record as a nation that protects human rights. Now it is clear that this president is an ostrich president. This president is a joker. This president is a comedian of a diplomat. My brother, let me rewind. Let me take you to the days of Kamala Harris coming into this country, the Vice President of America. She unequivocally told the people of Ghana in a very, very arrogant speech, I don't care what you think about in this country. I don't care what your laws are. LGBTQI plus is a human right. And everywhere I go, I will trumpet it. My brother, the man who feeds you, when he talks to you with no respect. After all, he controls you. That was so arrogant. I'm just imagining Robert Mugabe going to America. Imagining Atta Mills going all the way to America. I'm just imagining Nyasimbe Iyadima or any African president for that matter going to America and standing on national TV, broadcast to the whole of America, standing in front of the American president and telling the American president, I don't care what your laws say in this country. I don't care what the American people think about polygamy. Polygamy is a human right. And wherever I go standing in this world, I will trumpet that, and I will never care what the American people or your laws say about that. The next moment, the American CIA will come after you. The FBI will come after you. They will splash you all over their newspapers in America that this is an uncivilized charlatan who has arrived in their country. No wonder you go for a world conference and you are treated like animals, the dogs that you are, that are ready to eat bones from off the table of the West. No wonder you go for the Queen's funeral and all you African leaders are packed in one bus while the prince and the princess and whoever it is of England are all riding horses and taking away, my brother, my sister, as if in a charade, flowers sprinkled in front of them to walk around like Cinderella. My brother, my sister, we have demeaned Africa beyond resurrection. We have killed Africa beyond resurrection. My brother, my sister, I am so ashamed of some of our leaders. Listen to what the president is saying. Oh, diplomatic community, don't you worry. We will never ever backslide on our record for humanity and human rights. Don't worry about the LGBTQI plus bill. That was the same thing this president told Kamala Harris. Now let me be reasonable. Let me make sense. Now, what is the parliament all about? The parliament is Ghana in one room. When we decide to take Ghana out of a country and put it in one room, it is known as the parliament. Please write it down. I said, what does it mean to say the parliament house? It is Ghana that has been taken out of a country and put in one room. That is the parliament. Nobody has ever defined the parliament like this. By the inspiration of the Almighty, we speak to you with power and understanding, above all, comprehension and wisdom. Hear me now, brethren. If the parliament house is Ghana in a certain room, it means that the parliament house represents the whole of Ghana, the whims and caprices, the feelings of Ghana, the heads of Ghana. Now, if the whole parliament house decided that we don't want this LGBTQI plus thing, it means the whole of Ghana says no to it. Am I making sense? Now, my brother, my sister, all those MPs who have gone behind this thing and they are making noise, they are cowards. They have let the LGBTQI plus people down. No wonder they are threatening to expose all these gays and lesbians in parliament that they claim are in there. My brother, my sister, if you like homosexuality, it behoved you to raise your hand and say, I like it and I want to go by it. But no, all of you unanimously decided to say you did not want it. And as the thing moved forward, it's been passed. Who is the president to say he will not sign it? If the whole Ghana, represented by the parliament house, has decided to pass a certain motion, who is the president, one man, to say that he cannot or will not sign it? Unless you live in a draconian environment, unless you live in prehistoric times. Am I making sense? The whole parliament of Ghana decided that no, they don't want it. And they represent all the constituencies in Ghana. Unequivocally, they represent Ghana. Some of them are coming from the party of the president or the majority side. They all decided that they don't want it. Who is the president, one man, to say that he will not sign it? Why should even the president be given the option as whether to sign it or not? The president was supposed to sign it by force, whether he liked it or not, because parliament is bigger than the president. In a country that has common sense and understands its nation properly, the president should never be given the option to decide whether to sign it or not. If the president really represents the country and stands for the country, and if parliament represents the whole country and parliament passes a certain kind of motion, Mr. President should have no option but to append his signature or resign as president and let somebody with common sense come in and be the president. Am I making sense, brethren? I am so angry that you give so much power to one man, one weakling, one man who is so hemorrhaged in the brain, one man who dresses as if he's going to serve tea to the colonial master. My God. I leave it here. It's so painful. I said, I leave it here. My God have mercy. What is this? Sure. Well, the next thing I want to look at, and I need you to come along. What's the time? I have about 7 minutes more to go. And we'll make sure that we look at these things very carefully, my brethren. My God. My brother, another thing that is making the news over here, and I need us all to open our ears and listen with rapt attention. My brother, we live in Ghana, and right here in Ghana, so many things are happening. People are dying every now and then because of dirty leadership and corruption. I would like to appeal to the Parliament House of Ghana. You see the vehemence with which you pass the LGBTQI plus bill. I beg you, use the same energy to fight for the roads. Use the same energy to fight for water. Clean drinking water. I just came back from the north where I went on a patriotic tour. My Dear Ghana tour took me all the way to Welembele. We went all the way, my brother, my sister, to Wa. Went all the way from Wa to Bolgatanga. All the way, my brother, my sister, by road. That's how come I couldn't come on radio yesterday. My brother, my sister, to preach patriotism to our people. My brother, my sister. And it's an eyesore, the water some of our people drink. From Welembele, all the way through Jeffisi, to Tumu and all those places. People are sharing water with animals. My brother, my sister. Some parts of Ghana you go to, and you wonder if these are prehistoric times. The vehemence with which you fought and passed the LGBTQI plus bill. Use the same vehemence to be independent. You are depending too much on the West. A lot of you, if you don't get a visa to England, you are like hemorrhage jacks walking with no heads. Use the same vehemence to provide schools and furniture for the people. I went all the way to Tongo in the Upper East region, and the students were begging me to come and build them a dining hall. 300 students. Build us a dining hall, we beg you. Please, we need a dining hall, and we also need a hall of residence. Please, use your good offices to help us get these. Tears came out of my eyes. My brother, Tongo Secondary Technical, a school of 300 students. They have a hall there that is named after the Tongrana. Under the watch of the Tongrana, the overlord of the area, Galamsey is rife. The people of Tongo are dying in the Galamsey every now and then. Their water is polluted every now and then. The Tongrana, whose name has been given to one of the blocks of the area, tell me, what is he doing in his capacity to help the school grow? I hear there was a sponsorship to even build a road through the area. And we are told that some people around the palace of the Tongrana, or the Tongrana himself, allegedly said that they should halt the road and use some of the resources to build him a certain personal building. Is this a good leader? If this is true, is it a good leader? A road is going to be built. Water is going to be improved. And then a leader says, stop the water project for now. Stop the road project for now. Build me a palace. After you have built me the palace, then you can continue with this. Is that one to a leader? Does he have common sense? Does he have brains at all? Any leader who is looking for his own interest is a headless jack. Any leader, my brother, my sister, who is not ready for the people's needs and wants is an enemy of the state. I leave it here. My name Black Rasta, and I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you and I love you. It's been the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo, where we speak truth to power. Remember, this program right now starts at 12:30 and we go all the way to about 3 o'clock. 2.5 hours of power and energy. And you know we do it best.